All right, guys, welcome back to Eldest Born, a Three Brothers podcast. Now, we are here to review the second Doctor Who 60th anniversary special entitled Wild Blue Yonder. Now, I honestly had a different opening planned for this video, but today I found something on YouTube that I just want to react to. I think it's one of the funniest videos I've seen in recent history. It's a video of Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan Tate reacting to the first Doctor Who 60th anniversary special entitled The Star Beast, which if you haven't already seen my video about that, go check it out on my channel. Now, when I first saw this video of Andrew Tate and his brother reacting to The Star Beast, I could not stop laughing. And I just want to share it with you guys live on the podcast because I personally find it so funny. I happen to love Andrew Tate. I think he's hysterical. And a lot of the things he says resonate with me. I honestly wish I had John here with me because we actually did a video reacting to Andrew Tate on the Three Brothers podcast a while back. And it would be really fun if he was here right now. But I actually have a little game I want to play, which is every time I hear Andrew Tate insult Doctor Who on his podcast, I am going to take a sip of Crown Royal, and I think it would just be like a fun little drinking game. We've done a couple of these on the show before. It just makes it a little bit more interesting since it's my second time reacting to this video.
Right, so as Andrew Tate, I'm here to talk to you about a resurgence in bigotry and Nazism, which is taking over the world today.
I've never met a Nazi in my life. Ever.
Oh, haven't you? Well, let me ask you a question. What gender am I?
You're a man.
You assumed my gender without asking, therefore you are de facto a Nazi. Did you know that?
No, well, I'm not, though, am I?
Have you seen Doctor Who?
I do not call for the extermination of anybody.
Have you seen Doctor Who?
I'm not a National Socialist. No, who'd watch fucking Doctor Who?
Nobody watches Doctor Who, but for some reason, it's still on TV. Look at...
Yes, we know. We know everything. Thanks. And you know nothing. It's a shame you're not a woman anymore. Because you'd have understood.
We've got all that power, but there is a way to get rid of it. Something a male-presenting Time Lord will never...
He's a male-presenting Time Lord. He's not male, but he's male-presenting.
And we choose to let it go.
Well, that makes sense, though. Because Doctor Who, isn't that supposed to be set in like an alternate reality where everything is bullshit and sci-fi? Just like, you know, transgenderism.
Tristan, you are a Nazi and a bigot.
I'm not.
And the government
I'm
tells
a
us the
normal
truth.
man.
Tristan.
I'm a father.
Doctor Who, which nobody watches ever. Actually, let me tell you something. Because I'm Andrew Tate. So everything I say is
everyone watches Doctor Who.
People wake up excited to spend their evening ingesting propaganda via the mechanism of Doctor Who. Didn't you know that?
No, I was unaware.
You know what? I can't even be Andrew Tate anymore.
Shit! There you are! Fuck! Who was on my podcast?
I don't know, some crazy guy. I'm back.
So the plan was for him to say...
Doctor Who is shit!
He was going to say the opposite of all the things he means, but he can't even bring himself to do it wearing a mask.
Who wakes up? Who the fuck on the planet wakes up and thinks, I can't wait to watch Doctor Who tonight?
Me.
That's me, honestly. Everybody knows Doctor Who's my favorite show, so this is actually really funny.
I am not Tristan Tate. I am Tateston Trist. Doctor Who fan and male-presenting podcast streamer. How do you like it?
The world's a mess.
Taste of your own medicine.
Why is any of this a thing? How can any of this be a thing? Is that a man? Is that a woman? None of this makes any sense anymore.
All of it makes perfect sense. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sat next to a leading conspiracy theorist and Nazi, Andrew Tate. I, Tateston Trist, would never lie to you. Ever.
I actually think the Matrix do this specifically. I'm starting to believe now that they come up with arguments so asinine and so pertinently and obviously false, so that when we spend our time arguing about it, we don't have time to talk about anything important like elections or banking systems. We're too busy arguing about the fact that Doctor Who, which is shit, is full of shit rhetoric about bollocks, which ain't even true in the first place. So we sit here and waste our time. Look, I've got another clip of Doctor Who.
I love Doctor Who. Yes! Yes!
Why are you assuming the alien's a he?
My chosen pronoun is the definite article. I am always...
Fuck, he misgendered Meep! How could you do that to Meep?
Who the fuck is Meep?
I don't know, but Meep...
Who watches Doctor Who? I mean, this is a genuine question. Who watches Doctor Who? Who?
This guy.
No. Seriously. Who wakes up and goes, yes, Doctor Who is on?
Me.
When I was arguing with Piers, something came through my mind that I didn't say. I know when I answer questions, my rhetoric is so beautiful and it's so well thought through and so perfectly delivered that you can't comprehend, A, speaking like me, but B, you cannot comprehend the fact that as I am speaking, I am also thinking different things than I am saying.
Can you do this?
No. Anyway, as he was talking to me about Amanda Holden's haram picture, and I was answering him, he made the mistake of saying, well, her fans think, and I almost said, who the fuck is a fan of Amanda Holden? I'm not insulting the woman.
Me.
No. Who wakes up and says, who wakes up on the planet, anywhere, England, America, Thailand, anywhere, who wakes up, it's a brand new morning, I wonder what Amanda Holden is doing. Nobody does that.
This guy right here.
Go in the sauna, drink some more vodka.
Seems made up to me. We can't play any of the videos we had set up. But there's one, no wait, there's one video we can play.
Yes, we know. We know everything. Thanks. And you know nothing?
Tired of this.
It's a shame you're not a woman anymore. Because she'd have understood.
Shame you're not a woman anymore because you'd understand. But you're male presenting, aren't you, Doctor Who?
Something a male presenting
Male presenting Time Lord. This is really going to get in the minds of the children. All the children at home really watch Doctor Who. They really care. Hey, Tristan, I know how we'll sign up the population. I know what we can do because we're trying to destroy gender roles and we're trying to destroy everything else. Masculine and natural instinct to defend society. Let's sign up the children. What do children watch? Are they on the internet? Are they on Twitter? Are they on video games? No. The children wake up and they really want to watch Doctor Who.
Doctor Who is watched by 44-year-old
Who the
men.
fuck are these idiots who run this shit? Who sat there and thought, to sign up the populace, let's use the shittest TV show that's ever been made?
That's not true. Okay. First of all, I personally think that Doctor Who has seen better days, but in the current era, it has the highest budget it's ever had in its entire 60-year history, and I think just aesthetically, it's going to be like an amazing show going forward. But he's making some really good points about the propaganda that these producers and these writers are putting in the show. It's really turning the scripts and the plots into absolute garbage. And although I don't hate the show like he does, it's just something you can't disagree with, because everyone on the internet was outraged when the Star Beast came out and all the pro-trans propaganda was just saturated in the episode. The entire plot was pretty much ruined by pro-transgendered rhetoric and asking the Meep its pronouns. It's a freaking alien. We didn't even get the answer to what its gender was. It's a furry, weird creature, and when it was asked its pronouns, it answered, I am always the definite article, the Meep. Go figure. So...
It's like, remember the time they put Zelensky and Greta Thunberg in the same room for a meeting?
Yeah, that was wonderful.
Who the fuck thought this will get the public on side to give $50 billion of their tax money? Let's send Greta to Ukraine.
I can't imagine anything better, actually, to convince people the world.
I am flabbergasted, perplexed, and genuinely concerned that there is a human being alive at home somewhere who wakes up, goes to do some job, which means he has some degree of authority over something, then comes home, turns on the propaganda machine television, selects Doctor Who on purpose, and then sees Doctor Who talk about different genders and says, maybe gender is fluid. And then what? He looks up Amanda Holden pictures. Who are these people? They can't be real people. Tristan, please reassure me. I'm losing faith in humanity. Who is the person who watches this shit, believes it, is a fan of Amanda Holden? My brain is under assault. Hey, help me. Tristan, help.
It's me. All along. It was me all along. Inside
Why
your
did
house.
Doctor Who assume the meep is a he? What is the meep?
You don't know what. Why are you pretending
Brain.
that you don't care about
My
the beat?
mind is under attack. And if I were to meet one of these people, they'd say, "You're a human trafficker." Who are these people? Tristan, I'm losing the will to live. These people, do they exist? Are they real? He's a human trafficker. The meep is transgender. Doctor Who's convinced me in gender fluidity. Thank God Greta went to Ukraine. Give them all my money. These people can't be real. Tristan.
They're my friends.
No, I want to give up.
My people are real.
I want to give up. This can't be real.
Can't give up.
Oh man. Oh gosh, that was just as funny watching it the second time. He made so many good points, and his delivery is honestly really funny. I can't, you can't take him too seriously when he says stuff like this. I don't even know if he actually watches Doctor Who. Like, why would this be a topic of his podcast if they didn't know something about the episode? So maybe they both watch it and they just wanted to talk about it. Who knows? So yeah, that was just a little video I wanted to react to. And I think we should continue by jumping right into the review of Wild Blue Yonder. So let's go. As I did before in my last video, I am going to quickly run through a brief summary of the episode, just so anybody who hasn't seen it kind of gets a context of what we're talking about. And then I'm just going to give my opinions as we go and a little bit afterward. Now, after the end of the last episode, where Donna Noble spills her coffee on the console of the TARDIS, this episode starts out with the TARDIS crash landing in an apple tree. Now, this apple tree is the same apple tree that Sir Isaac Newton is sitting under when he comes up with the concept of gravity. Now, this is kind of just like a 2-minute skit where the Doctor and Donna run into Isaac Newton, and they kind of interfere with history in a sense, because as they're joking around about Isaac Newton discovering gravity, he mishears the word gravity when they say it, and he instead calls it maverty. Now, this is going to come up later in the episode because, when you go back in time and influence events of the past, you change the future. So later on in the episode, the Doctor and Donna refer to gravity as maverty, and it's kind of like a funny joke. It runs through the episode a few times, and it's just purely for entertainment purposes, just for humor. Has nothing to do with the plot at all. And something I want to note is that they misraced Sir Isaac Newton. He's a little bit darker than he should be. I don't know the exact ethnicity of the actor, but Sir Isaac Newton was a white man, and this gentleman is a minority of some sort. So I saw a few people on the internet review the episode, and they had made mention of this fact, which, I mean, apart from, say, like a play on Broadway like Hamilton, where it kind of works, where they can kind of just shift the ethnicity of Hamilton and other characters, I feel like Doctor Who has usually kept everyone pretty accurate to their historical personas, even though it is a fictional show and the Doctor does change history often and rewrite it. So it's kind of funny. This scene does make sense in the context of the show. But I don't know. Hopefully they don't start switching up the race of every historical character that going forward, but we'll see. Now, if I haven't mentioned this before, I just want to say that I think this new intro sequence for the theme song is absolutely gorgeous. The special effects and the animation of the TARDIS flying through these like spatial clouds with all this like smoke and dust under itself is just breathtaking. And the colors and imaginative like aspects of this whole thing, it's flying through a galaxy of sorts. I just really think it's a great improvement upon other intro sequences. Although I do still love Peter Capaldi and his 12th Doctor's intro, not gonna lie. So the Doctor and Donna crash land in an undisclosed location. They have no idea where they are, and the TARDIS proceeds to spit fire out of the console unit. Now, the Doctor, who is obviously disappointed that Donna just destroyed his brand new TARDIS interior, goes into a spiel about how he can repair the TARDIS using his sonic screwdriver and a regular screwdriver. So he proceeds to open up the lock mechanism of the TARDIS and inserts his new sonic screwdriver in to put the TARDIS in what most computer nerds would consider recovery mode. And this is repairing the TARDIS. So basically, they're stuck waiting until the TARDIS repairs itself. And in the meantime, they decide to go and explore the ship that they're on. Now, it's obviously a very large spaceship because they exit the room that they landed in and enter a very long corridor. And it's there that in the distance they see a rusty, slow-moving robot. And at first they don't recognize what it is exactly, but they know it's someone or something. And right as they start walking to go see who or what the robot is, they hear the TARDIS taking off, time traveling away to an unknown destination. Now, the Doctor explains that this is part of the hostile action detection system. The TARDIS will return once hostile action is no longer detected, which means that they are in immediate danger. And this obviously makes Donna very scared. All she wants to do is get home to her daughter Rose. Now the duo decide to go and explore the ship now that they have to wait for the TARDIS to come back. And hopefully, if they're lucky, they can dispel whatever hostile action is afoot. So they finally meet up with the robot after activating a sort of hover cart of sorts, which helps them to propel themselves down the corridor at a faster rate. Now, this robot is moving very slow, and they can't quite tell why or what its purpose is, but they hear these words chiming in the ship every so often. And because they don't understand the language of the ship's creators, they don't know what it means. But the Doctor has a hypothesis that it could be a countdown of sorts. Now, eventually they get to the ship's command deck, and this is where the captain would have sat if there was anybody on board. And the Doctor begins to decipher the numbering system of whoever owns the ship. After doing so, he's able to tell that there are 0 life signs on board. Something else that's very interesting is that 3 years ago, a airlock door was opened and then closed again, and they don't know why. Neither the Doctor nor Donna have any idea what that could have been caused by. But because there is a hostile action on board, they're assuming somebody may have gotten aboard the ship. Now, by looking out through the window of the command deck, Donna notices something very strange, which is there are no stars. This is when the Doctor realizes that they are on the edge of the known universe, and that all of the known universe, containing stars, galaxies, planets, etc., are actually trillions of light years away behind them. Now, this is a very eerie and strange moment, as the Doctor and obviously Donna have never been this far out in the universe before. Now, the Doctor and Donna move into a room that is full of some sort of alien circuitry, and the Doctor explains to Donna that they need to reorganize the circuits in order to shift the ship from idling into an active mode. So Donna begins to do so, and the Doctor moves into another room to examine some sort of glowing pipes, which I'm sure are integral to finding out what's going on with the ship. Now, while both of the characters are separated, each one is approached by a doppelganger of the other, and they start to be engrossed in deep conversation about the time that's passed since they've been apart. Now, it's been 15 years since the 10th Doctor regenerated, and in that span of time, the Doctor and Donna have been separated, with Donna forgetting everything about her time with the 10th Doctor until now, and the Doctor going through 3 regenerations since then and discovering mysterious truths about his still unknown origins. Now, as the Doctor and Donna are each talking with a doppelganger of one another, something strange begins to happen. The doppelgangers, who we find out later are unable to maintain their shape for very long because of the lack of conceptual knowledge about what it means to be a physical being, start to grow in disproportionate ways. So it starts with the Doctor's arms becoming too long and Donna's left arm becoming too long, which is absolutely bizarre when you see it on screen. And basically this immediately gives away the fact that these two imposters are not the true Doctor and true Donna that the other respectively thought they were. So the Doctor and Donna run into the other rooms to meet up with each other, and they're immediately confronted with their doppelgangers, who are deformed and growing. Now, I personally think that this was just an opportunity for the special effects team to just have a field day with body horror. But the CGI is definitely interesting in these scenes, like the overgrown limbs and the expanded jaw. The Doctor drops his jaw to the ground and then picks it back up again. It's all very weird and not something we've seen very often in past Doctor Who episodes. Now, the Doctor and Donna, being pursued by these two imposters, hop in their hover cart and immediately speed away from the control room. And as they're being chased, the imposters imposters start to grow into abnormal and disfigured giants, and they both proceed to get stuck in the corridor that they're all traveling through. And this is like kind of a moment of hilarity. I mean, I couldn't really take this scene seriously. It was a little bizarre for my taste, but the Doctor and Donna are perplexed by what's going on. They have no idea who these imposters are, what their motives are, and why they keep expanding into these mutated forms. Now, as the Doctor and Donna attempt to find a alternate means of escape by climbing up the walls into a small tunnel, the walls begin to shift, and the Doctor and Donna descend into different parts of the ship where they're inevitably separated from one another. Now, this obviously sets up the second half of the episode where the Doctor and Donna are each going to go through their own sort of trial of the mind, running into the doppelgangers once again and trying to figure out whether the one that they're interacting with is truly their real companion. Now, each one of them runs into the imposter of the other. They proceed to go into a kind of banter or rhetoric, trying to prove to one another that the other is who they say they are. Now, Donna is able to find out that the Doctor is an imposter because when he takes off his tie in order to prove that he's wearing different clothes than the imposter would be, the tie hits the ground and inevitably disappears from existence. Because these beings are shapeshifters and their clothes are also shapeshifted onto themselves, the tie detached from their person ceases to exist, and this immediately gives away the fact that this Doctor is not her true friend, but instead an imposter. The Doctor, on the other hand, has a more emotional conversation with the imposter of Donna, where she begins to talk to him about the fact that he has no idea where he truly comes from. Even though his home planet is Gallifrey, his mysterious origins left him bewildered and in emotional distress. Now, this version of Donna, attempting to pull on his heartstrings, almost has the Doctor convinced before she proceeds to dissolve into a puddle and start mocking him on the floor as a gelatinous ooze, which I thought was actually kind of gross if I'm being honest. Also, Imposter Doctor does this weird exorcist crab walk where he puts his head all the way behind his body and up between his legs, which makes it look like he's sticking his head out of his ass, and it's just kind of bizarre. And the CGI is not that great at this scene, but whatever. I guess they were going for like a more horror vibe. Now, the Doctor and Donna inevitably meet back up with each other, and they're easily able to tell which one is the real one because they're both running away from their doppelganger. This is the point where they have a four-way confrontation with the imposters, and the Doctor invokes a superstition by pouring salt across the ground and telling the imposters that they can't cross the line unless they count every grain of salt. This provides the Doctor and Donna with a sort of buffer where they can just talk to the imposters and try to decipher what their motives are and what their origins are, because they both obviously have an issue with maintaining their physical form. Now, this is where the Doctor and Donna discover that the imposters are actually formless and they come from the infinite void outside of the universe. And their motivations are to imitate living beings, inevitably becoming them, finding means of escape off the ship so that they can run wild in the known universe, inevitably wreaking havoc. Now, as the Doctor and Donna proceed to move from the current area they're in into the control deck, pursued by the imposters, they lower blast shields between the imposters and themselves, and they continue to decipher the origins of the imposters and their reason for being on the ship, as well as the mysteries behind the mysterious words that play every so often, the slow-moving robot, and a clinking on the outside of the ship that they haven't been able to quite discover the origin of yet. Now, the Doctor and Donna come to the realization that the imposters are able to copy their thoughts, memories, and physical forms, because the faster they think and move, the faster the imposters are able to download information from the person that they're copying. That being said, the Doctor opens the blast shields and sees the remains of the previous captain of the ship floating out in space. It becomes obvious to both Donna and the Doctor that the airlock door that was opened 3 years ago was the captain committing suicide. Now, the reason the captain committed suicide was because the imposters were trying to copy her, and in order to avoid them taking over the ship as her replacement, she killed herself and set into motion a series of events which would cause the robot to slowly move down the corridor and eventually initiate a self-destruct sequence on the ship. Now, this scene leads into an epic chase where both the imposters and Doctor and the Donna race towards the slow-moving robot. The imposters trying to stop the countdown from self-destructing the ship, and the Doctor and Donna trying to stop the imposters so that the plan of the captain can come to fruition and destroy both these creatures. And as all 4 characters are running, the TARDIS rematerializes in the corridor, and the Doctor proceeds to get inside as the detonation commences and his doppelganger is obliterated. Now, during the chase, the 2 Donnas are mixed up once again, and the Doctor accidentally takes the imposter Donna into the TARDIS, where she looks like she's about to attack him, but he notices once again that her arms are slightly too long, and he ejects her from the TARDIS and picks up the real Donna right before the entire ship explodes. And by the end, both imposters caught in the explosion are eviscerated. And the newly repaired TARDIS containing the real Doctor and real Donna is ejected from the explosion, and they inevitably make their way back home to London. Now, as we approach the tail end of the episode, the Doctor and Donna return back to the point in which they departed from, when the TARDIS malfunctioned. And instead of Donna's husband, daughter, and mother waiting for them, they exit the TARDIS, and to their pleasant surprise, Donna's grandfather, Wilfred, a beloved companion of the Doctor from his 10th Doctor era, has been waiting for them to return. Now, this scene was actually like the best moment of the whole episode for me. I thought it was the most heartwarming interaction, and I was honestly waiting for it to happen in the last episode, but I'm glad we finally got to reunite with Wilfred as a character, and him and the Doctor could see each other one last time before David Tennant's 14th Doctor inevitably regenerates. Finally, the episode ends with Wilfred telling Donna and the Doctor that in their absence, the entire world has gone haywire. Everyone's been attacking each other. Random things have been exploding and malfunctioning, and we see a huge plane overhead crashing into the distance, and the resulting explosion is felt even by the Doctor, Donna, and Wilfred. And the episode cuts to credits. Alright guys, so I obviously understand what they were going for with this episode. Russell T Davies said in an interview that he really wanted to stick to a concept of just 2 characters stuck together in an isolated environment in order to give the episode a sort of horror-esque vibe. Now, obviously, you do have the 2 imposters, but since they were both played by the same actors, it's really just 2 versions of the same character. Now, that being said, I don't know if he quite achieved the goal he was going for. People on the internet have had mixed reactions. A lot of people love the episode, but I personally didn't think this episode was worthy of a 60th anniversary special. It seems more of like a regular Doctor Who episode that we might find mid-season, but that's just my opinion. I thought the special effects were very good, but also they didn't invoke a horror feeling, more of like a whimsical deformity, like what the heck's going on. And the scene where the 2 imposters grow into gigantic mutants and get stuck in the corridor was just a little too ridiculous, like I said before. That being said, I didn't really enjoy this episode on my first watch. It was kind of a snooze fest, and I thought that the story really didn't lend itself to the grandiose expectations we have for a 60th anniversary special. I know there was a lot of mystery behind this script. Russell T Davies kept the plot of the episode pretty close to the vest before it's released. I was hoping that there would be a few more cameos, maybe by returning cast members like past Doctors or past companions, but we didn't get any of that, and I'm hoping we do in the next special. Overall, on my second watch through, I did start to enjoy the episode a little bit more. I started to get kind of what he was going for when he wrote this script. I personally am kind of neutral in this episode. It's really just alright for me, although the ending scene really tugged on my heartstrings, and I loved the reunion between Wilfred and the Doctor, as I said. I think that was by far the best part of the entire episode, and it was well worth waiting for. In terms of woke propaganda in this episode, there was really only 2 points of interest for me. The first being the Isaac Newton interaction, which we already talked about. But the second was briefly after that, when Donna and the Doctor land on the ship and begin to explore. They talk about how Isaac Newton was super hot, and the Doctor adamantly agrees. And then he asks himself, do I say things like that now? And Donna goes, well, it's always kind of been at the surface, as if to imply that the Doctor has always kind of been gay. Now, for me, this foreshadows the fact that Ncuti Gatwa, the actor who's going to be playing the 15th Doctor in the new season, in real life, he is a homosexual man. So that being said, they may write the character of the Doctor to be gay in the next season, and I am not looking forward to that. That's just my prediction, and I don't want to jump to any premature conclusions just yet. Something I did pick up on, though, is that this episode kind of seemed like it was straight out of Love, Death, and Robots, which is a Netflix original series, and specifically the episode called Beyond the Aquila Rift, which is about a spaceship full of people who, after going through a faulty warp drive, end up in an unknown region of space. And the main character encounters a familiar face who reassures him that they are in a certain sector of the galaxy, and even though it's not the one that they thought they were going to end up at, their ship is soon going to to be repaired, and they'll be on their way back to their intended destination. And in the interim, the main character spends time with this woman who is a lost love. Now, I want to play a few minutes of this episode just to give you an idea of the twist at the end, because my synopsis is not going to do it justice.
Susie's right, isn't she? You're not really Greta.
I'm sorry, Tom. I really am. You're... well, still in your tank. Still asleep. And this station, this whole place is a simulation being fed to you.
No! Stop that! The whole truth. Now!
Some of what I told you is true. You did end up here via routing error. You are beyond the Aquila Rift, thousands of light years from Earth, and there is a station here. It's just different.
So who is feeding me this fake reality, this fake Greta?
I am.
And just who or what are you?
I don't think you're ready for the answer, Tom.
Let me be the judge of that.
You don't know how many lost souls I've been through this with. I don't want to hurt you, Tom.
I just need to know what's going on here. I need to see. I need to see this place. I need to see you as you really are.
You're not ready. Just
show me, goddammit!
All right, Tom. But understand this. I do care for you. I care for all the lost souls that end up here. Hello, Tom. Hello, Tom. Hello, Tom. Hello, Tom. Hello, Tom.
Greta. Is that really you?
It's good to see you, Tom.
What happened?
You're in Salmaki Station, Shadar Sector.
Shadar Sector? But that's hundreds of light years off our course.
Yes, it is. But hey, at least there's a friendly face here.
I really love that show, and that episode is one of my favorite ones, but that's why it reminded me of this episode of Doctor Who, because in the same way the Doctor and Donna crash land in the outermost regions of the universe and inevitably run into doppelgangers of themselves, or imposters as I've been calling them, this Tom character encounters an imposter of his old friend Greta. Although he's in a sort of cryogenic sleep and he's just dreaming, eventually he wakes up and finds that he is not where he thought he was, and he's been interacting with a spider spider-like alien creature of horrifying characteristics, and then he falls back into this fictional reality that he's been living in as his body slowly decays in the web of the spider-like alien creature, which just gives me chills every time I watch it. Yeah, so like I said, this episode of Doctor Who gave me the same vibes as that episode of Love, Death, and Robots. So although I didn't enjoy it during my first watch through, I feel like the episode is growing on me over time, and I'm sure I'll find myself watching it maybe once more in the future. Let me know what you thought of The Wild Blue Yonder. Maybe leave a comment telling me whether my opinions on this episode are totally outlandish and whether Russell T Davies in his horror writing hit the mark in this episode. Now, as I wrap up, I just want to react to one last video. Because we didn't get to see a lot of the TARDIS in Wild Blue Yonder, I just want to take a look at a video that the BBC put out where they show how they built the set of the TARDIS interior. And this video shows David Tennant speaking with the set designer of the TARDIS as they run through the process of building the set and how they designed the interior as well as the console. So let's just watch this quick video just for fun.
Here we are. How long have you been working on this now, Phil?
Around, I think, 20 weeks. We've been building for 16 weeks. We had to send off lots of files to be CNC'd. The parts of the roundels that run from the front face and sort of curve like a trumpet.
Yeah.
Wow. They took a lot of work. So they were the first things, bizarrely, that we worked out. Yeah.
So that was the trickiest bit of all of this?
Exactly. This bit was easy.
Really?
No, not at all, no.
We film on this on Monday.
On Monday.
And it's now Friday.
Yeah, it's going to be...
Feeling confident?
Yeah, it's perfect. It's going to be fine, yeah.
There's a few bits still missing, but it's getting close.
There's a few bits missing, yeah.
I first saw this on a headset.
Oh, yeah, on the virtual reality.
Very exciting.
Yeah, it's really...
That is
amazing
so cool. They're able to explore the interior of the TARDIS
and you have a
via
moment where you
virtual
look at
reality
and think,
before the set is even built.
People, is it really going to be like this?
It's almost more impressive. It's very big. There's a lot of excellent buttons.
Yeah, we were told you like buttons.
I do love a button. And oh, they're actually lighting up.
We've also been told you get through buttons like wildfire.
I do, yeah, I do, but this feels perhaps more robust than the one I remember. On the old TARDIS, things broke with such regularity, or I broke them, or they cracked, or whatever. But the only thing left was the big lever. So that was the only thing that became consistent.
Was that the only reliable thing?
Yeah. Oh, I like that as well.
The Gallifreyans are just logoing it up now so that it all makes sense.
Right, okay. That's been cleared by the High Council.
That's been cleared, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's very fiddleable.
Good.
Yeah.
That was the plan.
And what are we imagining is on the lower level? Do we know yet?
You know, it's evocative of a tokamak generator, which is like a fusion generator to create endless electrical energy. This is the coffee machine.
It takes up quite a lot of space, the coffee machine.
Quite a big coffee machine.
It's quite central to the whole...
It is.
You'd think there were other things that prioritised on a TARDIS console. Presumably, things can be removed and will...
Yeah, exactly.
It's an organic
Yeah, that's something
console.
I'd love to get your take on. It would be interesting to know if we can sort of, tweak things here and there. I imagine story-wise, sometimes
You
things
just change things between episodes, and I don't think anyone notices.
The TARDIS grows it, right, and develops it.
That's exactly what it is.
The rotor moves up and down, and these paddles or petals open as it moves up, and then they close as it moves down, and then there's petals at the top that do the opposite.
Oh, nice. And you're confident that's not going to break down?
Sorry, am I twitching? Yeah, I'm really confident it's not going to break down.
I'm very.
It's not going to break down.
God, I've got to be running around these at some point, haven't we?
There's been a lot of discussion about where David's going to run. They might have to slow you down. You might get through it too quickly based on the.
I've only got a few days on here. I'm going to make the most of it.
Make the most of it. Yeah.
Don't want to leave too many things for Shooty to discover. I want to get in there first. Thank you for your excellent tour.
Thank you. No problem at all. Anytime.
Very exciting. I'm very much looking forward to getting on here.
Good.
And for the paint to be dry.
Me too.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, one day.
So I just thought that was a really cool interview. I personally love the interior of this TARDIS. I know I mentioned this in my last video, but I absolutely love it. It's growing on me so much. I love how huge it is, how bright, how clean, and the console is just so cool the way they designed it. It's definitely one of my favorite TARDIS interiors. And when I found this video, I just needed to talk about it on the podcast. So I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. So guys, once again, this has been Eldest Born, a Three Brothers podcast. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for our next review of the next Doctor Who 60th anniversary special entitled The Giggle.